Vince DeAugustine, head coach of the Hempfield Spartans, alongside Jeff Shaw and Kris Smith, and we are joined by one of the junior Spartan greats, also coached by assistant coach Jeff Shaw, Mr. Briar Priest. Briar found himself atop the podium at the sweetest place on earth. That's right, they have little Hershey Kisses as lampposts out there. That's right, it was Hershey. So happy to have you on. Coach, we're going to start with you. We've asked the same question to all the coaches, so you should be pretty well versed.
I wasn't paying attention.
You weren't paying attention. He was over there taking notes.
Yeah, right.
Talk a little bit about the season. Certainly a special one for sure. Very condensed. A lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles. I know you have a very supportive support staff at Hempfield. Talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was obviously challenging with COVID. But I had a great staff. We were able to put a great staff together. We had 6 guys on the staff. Jeff was obviously one of them. His son Austin, Joe Qualey, Brandon Matthews. Well, I guess I had 7.
Dom,
right? Jake
right.
Beistel, Dom Nania. I mean, we had a good staff. So
That's
it helped me.
math.
That's right. I mean,
Salem
Greensburg was
Yeah,
9.
not much better.
No, but everything's good. I mean, our administration, our athletic director, allowed that to happen, and it was perfect for us. We were allowed to split the groups up. We were allowed to have multiple practices running at the same time. So that allowed us to, we weren't shut down. So it allowed the kids to be able to feel a little more comfortable. I think the parents too. So it was good. I mean, it was a rough year for me as far as being worried about the things, and these guys picked up the slack with having, a little one at home, a little one on the way, and Chelsea being pregnant for most of the year. So these guys were awesome. A lot of credit goes to my staff. So.
Talk a little bit about the team this year. Certainly you had a nice core of returning leadership. I know when we talked during the kickoff show, there was a culture change that needed to happen since your return. Obviously, you were able to make that happen with a great staff, great leadership, and then you guys go on to have just a great postseason.
Yeah, we did.
Eventually finished up second in the state. Talk a little bit about the team.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was a condensed schedule, so we were a little bit worried about. I mean, these guys, with the exception of Ethan, Isaiah, and Ty, our philosophies and the style that we ran practices was a little different for them. I think some of them were not ready to buy in right out of the gate. So we started a little slow. We had some ups and downs. But I think at the end there is where we really succeeded. I mean, we finished 9-0 in dual meets. And we opted out of the postseason just to be safe, the postseason for dual meets. Yeah, so we wanted to be safe there. And I thought it was a good move. I guess you'll never know if it was good or not. But I thought we were really prepared to wrestle in the postseason. So I think at that point these guys bought in. I think you'll talk with Briar, and we had our bumps in the road too at the beginning, and I'm not sure if he really knew that, but there was times where I wanted to give him a little slap in the face a little bit. Yeah, for sure. But that was bound to happen. I think because we wanted to change the culture a little bit to where it was. When we were there before, and that's, again, it probably sounds like a knock on the old staff, but it's just the way it is. So I thought we did a good job, and these guys started peaking at the end of the year when it mattered most.
Jeff, do you have anything for your coach before I shake it over to Briar?
No, I mean, he said it very well. I mean, it was very challenging. It was challenging because of not only COVID, but a staff that's coming back to a school where we as humans don't like change. So, as you mentioned, the elder statesman of the team, it's their senior year, and do we really want to try to buy in, or we just want to keep doing what we're doing? So, inevitably, things did work out and things changed, and I think what we did as a team at States individually, I mean, that spoke volumes, and we can talk a little bit about that. We took 4 guys. 3 of them finished third, but that's a hard thing to do at state. You lose and you come all the way back in battle to get third. 3 guys came all the way back to get third in addition to Briar's state title. And for us to achieve the second place as a team says a lot about the team and about the individuals. And it was nice to have a lot of different voices involved in the room, all of which got along and picked up where somebody was down for the day. So it was a pleasure.
And the one thing that we didn't really have much of a preseason either. I mean, we got started late. We weren't allowed to start until a certain time. So it was
January 4th. Yeah,
so it was rough there. I mean, because usually when you're starting in, let's say like a month from now, we're starting in May this year, right? For next year, I think we got going maybe, and we had some preseason practices in late November, December. So again, not a lot of time to instill that philosophy, that change that you talked about. So I think that's why we maybe didn't start peaking until the end of the year, which we're fine with. I mean, it was, like you said, it worked out well. We had the opportunity to place three guys at third place and our state champ here. So it worked out well.
Let's switch the focus to the state champ. Coach, talk a little bit about your junior Briar that, last year was at 106 pounds and then, nature took over, or else I think you could have been in a similar situation had nature held off for another month or so, but obviously hit you with a pretty quick growth spurt, made 106, tough for you to hold, but you move up to 132. Talk a little bit about being on his side there throughout this entire season, your first year back, right to the Hershey Gold.
Yeah, I think for me it was. I don't know that it was nature as much as it is the hard work that he put in the off season. I think there's two things that you have to do, right? You have to be mentally tough and you have to be physically tough. And I think Briar did a really good job of working in the off season to make himself physically stronger. He did a lot of CrossFit, and that's obviously something that paid off for him. I think the one part that he lacked, and he may or may not admit, I think the big thing was he was physically stronger, but his mind had to catch up a little bit. So, and I think that's the part that it took a while for him to believe in himself. He has all the talents. He's good in all three positions, but I don't know that he necessarily believed that until we got to a certain level. We've had conversations. I think going back, if you look at, say, Winter Mayhem, he lost to Jackson Arrington in the finals. He lost 10-5. He didn't think he could win that match, right? So then we go to Powerade, and he loses to Connor Pierce, I think, from Harbor Creek. Loses by, I think it was 4-3. A match where he just relaxed, got turned. Then he gets defensive pinned by Stone King at Powerade too. He started to, I think at that point, he still didn't believe that he was as good as he was. Mm-hmm. The turning point for Briar was, and we had a conversation at the Whippeal tournament at Canamac, and I think the issue was he beat Stone King to get to the finals against Chapel, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Just make sure I got things right. So he beat Stone King to get to Chapel in the finals, and one of the other wrestlers comes up to me and says, just so you know, Briar doesn't think he can win. So we had a little conversation in the back and said, hey, I said, basically, just give me your singlet. Why are you even going out and competing? There's no use of going out and competing if you don't think you can win. So he goes out and wrestles like he couldn't win. He was down 5-0. Well, then he decided to wrestle halfway through the match, right? Yeah. And he loses 7-5, and you could see it click. Like, hey, I can go with this guy, right? So then we follow that up with the Super Regional tournament. Goes, and he's down in that match, but he's wrestling hard, ends up losing 6-5. At that point, he's starting to realize, I'm pretty damn good, right? So he carries that into the state tournament, rattles off 2 wins there, gets back at Chapel and just dominates him 6-0.
One of the coolest pictures I've ever seen, too, and I think Coach Billett took it. Did you see it? I actually was going to scroll through my phone. Was whenever you had a cradle locked up on Chapel and you were on your back, and I don't know what happened. Was that him?
This was in the 6-5 match at the Super Region.
Yeah, right. Talk, Jeff. I'll
you go ahead and find that.
And Flick will
Let's get Briar is the man of the hour here. So we're telling everything about Briar because it's all fresh in our mind. But Briar, I want to hear some things from you. We had a very special year this year, and it was different, but I'm going to let you talk about this. I mean, for me personally, it was special because I got to coach with my son, Austin. And you and Austin had a very special relationship, too. And I think that maybe, and I want you to talk a little bit about all this, is you were able to relate to him because he was younger and you guys spent some time together. So tell us about how you transitioned to what Coach alluded to, coming from not believing in yourself to ultimately getting to the end when your hand was raised on the mat in Hershey with Austin and Vince in your corner. So tell us about how all that happened.
I can tell you're getting intense.
I mean, if you all can see right now and Flick zoomed in, you can see the goosebumps on my arms because I'm reliving it right now through Briar. So please.
Oh yeah, that was a good picture.
I thought that was. You're gonna show. Flick, can you zoom in?
Hold on.
This is just one of the greatest pictures.
Don't zoom in too much. I got some great hair.
Here, I'll hold it out. You zoom in. Are you on the?
Wait. Let me.
I just gave Briar this great lead in, and now we're pausing, right? So keep your thought.
But we need
Briar.
you to cool down.
I know. I got to get these bumps to just calm down.
It's a really cool picture. I believe photo credit has to go to Mark Billett. Works with so many different publications, including PIAA Power.
Okay.
So
go ahead, Briar, take it away.
As Coach said, it was all mental the whole year, and he wanted me to buy into his philosophy, which I didn't understand halfway through the year at all. And I finally started to buy into it, and Austin was probably like the biggest help with my mental awareness the whole year, because he always talks to me. He's like, dude, you're like the best. No one can beat you. And I never believed it. And he always said it, and he always like was there for me in my matches and practice. And
was there a turning point, something he said to you? Because I kind of know what it is, but I'd like you to share it. Is there something that he said about a match, if you just do this, that made you start to believe in what he was saying and what your staff believed in you?
if you don't get this right, he's going to make you run around the golf
No,
course.
no.
Joking.
I don't know. He always just said, like, believe in yourself, and I did, and I feel like it changed the way I wrestled.
I mean, obviously Dylan Chappell was not the thorn in your side, but the guy that everybody put way up here and nobody's talking about Briar Priest. And you slowly, throughout the season, just started to chip away. When did you finally believe that your hand could get raised for Hershey Gold?
I would say definitely after the Super Regional tournament. The last 10 seconds of the match probably is when I would decide that I could
You
win.
needed 2 more seconds in that match to win that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Now, during practices a lot, did you work out with Coach Austin just about every day?
Me and Austin didn't work out every day, but he was always there coaching. Like, if I didn't have a partner that day or we had an odd group, he would jump in and roll.
Well, you had almost as many coaches as you did wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
But would you
This is
say
true.
that you and Coach Austin, like that was the one that kind of migrated? You two got together, and he was the one that kind of put you over the hump. No disrespect, guys.
No, I'm taking it.
I don't feel anything.
Because when we have an NC2A watch party, and it's actually Jeff's brother's Billy, and Austin was there for the finals when I got there Saturday night, and I instantly went up to him, and I was so excited for your win. I was excited for you this season, and it started when I had your call against Nate Roth. That's when I knew that Briar Priest was for real. Because, Nate, I mean, that's a pretty established name. You didn't do it once, you didn't do it twice. Heck, I think you did it 4 times this season. So to do what you did with Nate, that's when I knew you were for real. But I went up to Austin. It was like a big hug. I'm like, dude, congratulations. Like, I know it was Briar out there winning it, but there's always that one coach that I think really has somebody's ear. And I just wanted to give Austin a big shout out. I don't know if he's upstairs.
He's upstairs. He's supposed to be working, but I'm sure he's just
He's
watching.
probably watching us. So talk about winning Hershey Gold. Like what was going through your mind when you realized you won?
When I realized I won, I don't really know what to say because it was a big shock to me, but I worked hard that whole summer, and I worked hard this whole year. I wrestled, lifted, ran a lot. I had to cut a little bit of weight at the beginning of the year, but I originally certified at 128, and I had to talk to my coaches, and I realized that wasn't going to be the best spot for me. But I don't know, as I went through, I just kept wrestling and training, and it led me to the state finals.
I think that's the one thing that's important about Briar is when he doesn't have to focus on his weight, he's unbelievable, right? But when you get in there, like I always said to him, hey, what do you weigh today? In the middle of practice, what do you weigh today? I didn't check because if I'm over, I'm going to have a bad practice, right? And I think going in, and I didn't know much about, when you made 106, how bad. I mean, obviously I saw you, so I knew your weight cut was pretty hard. But going into this year, I think with no weight issues at all, I think that's when his talent really took over. Yeah.
Because you weren't training to cut weight. You were training to get 1% better every day.
That's it.
So tell us a little bit about your state tournament. You come out of the gate with a major, okay? So then your next match, which wasn't a major, go ahead.
No, my next match, I believe he was undefeated that year. And I was definitely nervous, really, but I was like, I'm already here. I might as well give it my all because I was placing anyway, is what I always thought. So I didn't think it was going to be that close, honestly. None of us could figure out how to take each other down, and I rode him out in the second, but I don't know why he went down, because I thought he was going to pick neutral. It would have been probably a different match for sure. But
So wait a minute, you picked top in the second? Or
I went down in the
You went
second.
down and got reversal?
I got an escape in the second.
Got an escape,
Yeah.
okay. So, and he knew how tough you were. Well, you're down 1-0. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut your story.
Oh, no, you're good.
No, I'm not, but go ahead. I'm pulling a Jeff.
Yeah.
Telling the story.
I do that very well, don't I? The whole Vinny Kilcarry telling the whole
Did
match.
you
He
ever
didn't get to
listen
speak.
to our podcast last year? We'll tell you the story with Kilcarry. It was one of the greatest matches ever in the semifinals when he's losing. Headlocks a kid, pins him.
Oh.
Last year we did this in the form of a podcast, and Jeff is sitting across from Vinny, and Jeff's like talking through the match, and he's real excited like he was about 2 minutes. He goes, okay, Vinny, now you tell some. And he gave Vinny like 10 seconds, and then Jeff goes back into what's going on, and he goes, okay, Vinny, now back to you. So that's why we're just making fun of ourselves.
There's just certain matches that you always remember,
Yeah.
and you can still see it in your mind. And just like your 6-5 loss to Dylan Chappell at the Super Region, it was that exciting. But then you turn around in the state finals, and he didn't score a point on you.
Yeah.
It was so impressive, your state final match, that it's one of those that I know you'll always remember, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You get back home, you get back to school. What was it like in school? You know, you come back, you're a state champ. I mean, you get to join your head coach. He's got his name up there on the wall twice. He's got his picture in the hallway. That's you now.
Yeah.
What was it like when you got back to school with your friends?
It was good. I didn't get to go back on the next day I won, because we're on a hybrid schedule.
Sure.
So I missed the announcements and everything. But they put our names up on the board,
Kiosk,
the kiosk at school, and I'm kind of excited for the banner in the wrestling room. I always thought that was cool when I saw everyone's, because we always do a little ritual before we go, and I thought it'd be cool if I could be on there too.
Absolutely. So tell us what's coming up. I mean, obviously, going to continue training. You got another gold medal to go win this year. Talk about it.
I'm going to start doing CrossFit again this summer, and I'm doing.
Have you compete in any CrossFit, like I don't know what they call them, warriors or ninjas, things that I'm too fat to do now, but I can't remember what they're called. But go ahead.
I think they call them the CrossFit Games.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I don't know.
No, I don't think I'll ever compete, but I just do it to get a good work.
Obviously, it
I
worked.
honestly think it's as hard as the wrestling practice, maybe even harder.
I'll have to
They're
talk
tough.
to Coach DeAugustine about that. We got to turn up the
Oh,
heat
yeah,
a little
maybe.
bit.
I think we need to incorporate some of this into our training now.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You know, but once a week we do a little CrossFit training. I mean, obviously it's producing state champs.
That's right. Absolutely right.
Any idea on the next level, school, where you want to go? I mean, obviously your door had to start getting knocked down after you win a state title.
Yeah, there was definitely a bunch of coaches that talked to me that day, and there's a lot of offers, and I'm still kind of deciding on where and what I want to do in college. But
What do you want to study? Do you have an idea?
right now I'm thinking about engineering, but that's something that I always could change for sure.
Sure.
That's just an
Are
early
you a smart
thought.
fella?
Kind of.
I like it. I like it. Kind of. You're a smart fella. Go ahead.
You know,
Jeff.
this was a especially pleasing year for me with Briar, and I have to take this back because Briar used to wrestle for me in youth wrestling, and he was favored, right? You were pretty much favored that year. I mean, it was going to be a good shot at you winning, and we go to the state tournament in youth wrestling.
Favorites at 9 years old.
But this is the sad part of it. He had a case of poison ivy, okay? And we had paperwork on it. We go in, and he's denied wrestling. He wasn't allowed. The official said, nope, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, I have a paper right here that says it's poison ivy. It doesn't look like poison ivy to me. You can't wrestle. Imagine, it was your first trip to the state tournament in youth?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was.
Yeah, and one of the favorites, and he's not allowed to wrestle. That's the last time he and I were at states together until this year. So it was
And they went
especially
gold.
pleasing to be there with you and your family, your dad, and just for it to finally happen for Briar Priest.
Congratulations.